Hi everyone, my name is Lori-Ann, and this video is going to look at a couple math instructional strategies that you can implement with your math program. Stay tuned. If you are new to It's All Primary, welcome. Here at It's All Primary you will find tips and strategies to help you be a better teacher. So we are currently in the series on math. If you haven't been on my website or anything like that, I love math. I really do. I loved it as a kid. Didn't love it so much as a teenager. up until grade 12 I loved it. Grade 12 I stopped loving it. But when I became a teacher, I started loving it again. You can do so much with your math program. It's not just about giving a student a workbook and getting them to fill it out. Math means so much more than that. So last week we talked about, what did we talk about last week? I can't remember. So last week we talked about number talks, how just by adding 5 or 10 minutes to the beginning of your math block, you can increase your engagement significantly. Today we're going to talk about the formal math instruction and ways you can make that more engaging as well for your students and make it more enjoyable for you too. Whether you are teaching virtually or face-to-face at this time of our world, think back on last year and what strategies you used as part of your math block. How long was your formal instruction to the students? How long did you give them to practice? How long did you give them opportunities to experiment and use manipulatives to work with their math, to engage in the concepts that they are learning? So what does that mean for you giving the formal lesson? If you're working with primary children, your lesson should be brief. And when I'm talking brief, we're talking the amount of minutes equal to the age of your students. So if the students in my class are 6 years old, my formal lesson, 6 minutes. Which is fine by me. I tend to do short lessons anyways. But particularly at this time of the year, many of them have not been in school for 6 months. Some of them are doing this online. Their attention span is going to be short. So start with 6 minutes or 5 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever the age of your students are, and then build stamina so that you can increase it. But the longest it really should be is 10 minutes. 10 minutes is actually too long. I find sometimes in professional development, after 10 minutes, I find after 10 minutes, my attention span's starting to go. So when you're starting your formal lesson, it's best to start with a hook. A hook is either a statement or an object that's going to get your students interested in what you're about to say. Object lessons are a terrific way because many students learn visually or tactile. So if you can start your lesson with something in your hand or something to show or something on the whiteboard or on the Zoom screen, hook your students in. You can provide storytelling is a good way to bring your students in. If you are doing Zoom, it's a little bit harder to do hands-on, but if you are face-to-face, provide a hands-on activity. You can put it into your formal lesson, or you can have it immediately before or immediately after your lesson. You'll be able to figure out fairly soon what you need to be able to do. And if it means moving things around in the order of how you're going to teach something, then do it. Experiment with this. One of the things that I do is I use objects. I also use the calendar because I have a lot of math activities on the calendar wall. And so when I start talking about something and I reference the calendar, many of them will look and most of them will turn back when I keep talking. But it gives them a frame of reference, and now they've made a connection. And that's what you're looking to do with either that hook or visual aid. You want the students to make that connection, because if they make that connection, they'll be engaged. Yay! One of the things that I mentioned last week that also works effectively with your formal math lesson, when you are working, through Zoom or Google Classrooms or a video of some sort, ask your students to use some sort of object in front of them. So for example, a candle or something small, something that's not going to be noisy. You can even have a glass if they're drinking things. Kids usually have a water bottle or something near them when they are at their desks. Instead of raising their hand, they lift up the object, and you can use it as a rule too. If you lift up your object, it means you have a question, or if you are asking a question to the class, you lift up your object to say that you have an answer. It's just something different, and again, that brings engagement to the class when you're not always asking for the hands up, hands up. And it's something fun for them if they're working online. We need to find ways of keeping our Zoom classes as creative as we can, because some of them are going to be sitting in front of that screen, sadly, for too long. And so if you can provide some sort of game with your math lesson, again, you're going to keep engagement high. If you are finding any value from this video, I'd really appreciate the thumb up being clicked, and please subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Videos are always posted Tuesdays, and then a vlog is featured on Saturday mornings. When it comes to differentiated learning, the use of visuals needs to be high, because they may not necessarily understand what you're saying with your words, but they can follow along with the object that you have. For those kids that need some adaptations or modifications, if they're working again online, then send a note to the parents privately and let them know that you would like their child to sit in on the math lesson, but that their work will be modified or adapted for them. It's important that they attend and participate. So what is something that you can do to make your math lesson more engaging, because you only have anywhere from 5 to 7, 8 minutes? Use something that the students, all of the students, are going to be able to make a connection with. If you are in the classroom, you could be moving around the room. Moving around the room is another good way of keeping engagement, because if you start moving, then suddenly the kids who have been staring at you with the glazed eyes suddenly go, oh, wait a second, she moved. Where'd she go? Right? Objects, moving, storytelling, something hands-on, differentiation, show and tell can work as well. They're all related to one another, and they can all be used to help make your math block successful. There are a few more videos in this math series. Next week, as I mentioned, we are going to look at incorporating calendar into your math block. I might be in the classroom. We will find out. Follow me on my vlog and you'll find out for sure whether I'll be in the classroom next week. I just saw something fly by. Anyways, I hope you are having a great week. Make it count. Enjoy the day. We'll see you soon. Take care.